Hi guys, I'm sending this to everyone on the creative curriculum team and as well as the kindergarten team at large to kind of give me some feedback through this email chain. If you have any ideas, if you want to help, you could also just not even help at all. But if you're interested in helping me think of how or better understand how to fit all of these standards into one strand. Maybe a better solution would be to make multiple strands for kindergarten because we do have a lot to cover. Or we can word it in a very vague way that covers, multiple contexts. So I'm just going to put myself down here and I'm going to be sending out this PowerPoint, or rather just sharing it with you so that you can read things a little bit more clearly. But I basically am going to be showing you what's on the assessment tool versus what standards kindergarten is asked to kind of work with, according to Arrow and NGSS, the science standards. So here we are going to focus first on social studies, and there's the social studies strands, and this is really what kindergarten is assessing right now according to the assessment tool. It says that they can express their name first and last, age, gender, school, street name, phone number, city, country, and shows understanding of culture in the classroom and home. So as you can see, that's pretty limited, especially when you look at the standards we're working with. Again, I'm going to share these, so you don't need to, I'm not going to exhaustively read through them right now, but we should be covering time and continuity and change, connections and conflict, geography, culture, society, government, production, distribution, science, technology. And so you can look more closely at those standards and see what it's actually talking about, what are the essential questions. But as you can see, it's not really fitting into that box. So the units we currently teach, we do have a engineering one that's more of a science focus though. We have a needs and want unit to talk about, what are things that are priorities when we're going to buy things? What do we actually need versus what do we just want? We don't explicitly talk about government in our class. We do have, systems in place. We have expectations. We have jobs the students have, but we don't actually call it government at any point, or society, things like that. We also have a community helpers unit, which covers this standard. How do people and groups support their community? How are we connected to other people? In the culture, we have our Discovering Us. We talk about the cultures in our classroom. We don't actually teach geography in the class at this point. We do have a problem-solving unit, which covers the connections and conflict. What is conflict? What is cooperation? We cover that in that unit. Technology changes over time. We have a unit over that, and we really focus on how cars have changed over time, computers have changed, phones have changed, that kind of thing. So we do teach these standards, and we spend time on them. They are in our master plan, but again, when we assess them, we're left a little bit confused, where to talk about it because of this limiting, box on the assessment tool. So I'm looking at how we can broaden that. And then next we have science, which again is found on the assessment tool here on page 16. And then here's the up close and personal for kindergarten. It says experiments, evaluates, applies, and records data that has been collected and extends idea in different contexts, distinguishes between tools and techniques, and uses them appropriately. So yes, I think those are great, but sometimes it can feel a little bit confusing on how it fits with our units. So we do have a force and motion unit where we're talking a lot about momentum, speed, friction, that kind of thing, and we could definitely assess that in an investigation context. We're currently not so much, but we definitely can. So that's something that can fit. We just have to be aware that when we're assessing them based on, are they collecting data on how fast something goes? Are they analyzing the data? Are they talking about the data? Because right now we're mostly focusing on like the vocabulary of push and pull and ramp and things like that. Sunlight, again, we're focusing more so on vocabulary and how does sunlight affect our our skin and our bodies, but we need to be thinking more about how can they be making observations to determine the effect of sunlight on the earth. So really putting it in an investigation context, like an experiment, and then it would fit really well into this. Animal, plants, and meats. That's the tricky part, because here it does say they need to be using observation to describe the patterns of what plants and animals need to survive. But the way we teach right now is kind of just like, here's a bunch of information. Okay, now talk about it. So we really should change the way we're teaching in this case to be more of an observation. Look at what they're doing, look at what they're eating, rather than just telling them the information, reading books about the animals like we did for ours this year. Earth system, again, really focusing on observing weather. So I think that one we already do really well, because we would every morning make a graph on how the weather was doing. This one is looking at how the Earth and humans are connected through weather, through recycling, that kind of thing. And so we do have a unit on that, but again, it's not really based on like a collecting data way, but I think it can be adjusted to be so. And then we have our engineering unit, which is also great for experimenting, because you try different things and you can mark on data if it worked or not. So the science, I don't think actually needs to change. We're able to continue to teach in different contexts, like it says there, which is great. So I think this one is good. I think the main thing that we need to change is our social studies one, because there's a lot being taught here that's being taught and not assessed, and there's even some stuff that's not being taught in the standards. So thank you for listening. I did just want to, we had that meeting last week about what, was going on. And I just wanted to, again, clarify, why maybe a change could happen. And just in the email below, if you want to hit reply all and just go ahead and put any ideas of what you think could be there, or any suggestions for me. Thank you.